It is the year 2000, and now that we're all done panicking over a Y2K virus that didn't do anything, we got on with the important work of playing Snake on our Nokia phones and printing out MapQuest directions to local Radio Shack and Blockbuster video stores. We also may have stumbled upon a little tune by the Baha Men called Who Let the Dogs Out, and before you try to back away from it, there's no way that you did not jump in on the who, for this song was everywhere. Radio, TV, movies, sporting events, summer camp, no doubt. That song was used in a crucial talent show to determine Camper of the Year. It was massive. Now, of course, with any decent band that went from, performing in hotels in the Bahamas to coming out with a song that took the world by storm, they've changed some of their members over the years, and we here at the Spotlight are going to talk to two of them, Rick Carey and Dyson Knight, and we're going to talk about their experiences in the band. We're going to talk about the original band leader, Isaiah Taylor, and their insane popularity in Japan. Why does Japan always know who the cool people are? Well, we'll find that out. So sit back, relax, and let's learn about who. Who
let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Spotlight Effect is an opportunity for us all to revisit, relive, and reminisce about those moments in history with those most responsible for them. Each of our guests have achieved a certain level of fame, much to the extent that we still think about them today, and we want to know more about them. So every Tuesday, I'm going to sit down with one of these guests who at one point were a household name or just part of the public consciousness, and have used that to propel them forward, or have since returned to normal civilian life. We'll learn about the lead-up, the since, and of course, gain insight into their big moment and the effect that it had on them and us as well. Rick and Dyson of the Baha Men, welcome to the Spotlight Effect.
What's up?
How are you, gentlemen?
I'm great. It's great to be here.
Excellent.
I mean, the song is huge, but I mean, this band originated in the 70s. I mean, you're talking like the roots of this band was in 1977. I mean, Star Wars came out the year your band was formed. Mm-hmm. But it's been rooted in funk, when the disco scene was heavy. Where did the band go musically? And explain to the type of, describe the type of music that you guys do.
Back in the late 70s, they were a cover band, like most bands from everywhere else. They were cover bands. And then Zai had a vision he wanted to do records. And he actually hooked up with a record executive who gave him the idea to do cover tunes and put on a record to be, I think the market they were aiming for was Japan. And so they did a lot of cover tunes, which turned into big hits in Japan. And they were like a household name in Japan for many years. I would say maybe about from after the 70s and 80s of being a cover band, ventured off and changed their name from High Voltage to Baha Men, because High Voltage was already taken apparently. So they made that step, got the record deal, and boom, they were doing records for Japan, and they were a big success. The sound has always been a fusion of Junkanoo music, which is our local music here in the Bahamas, our festival music. It's stripped down from instruments that we use on the parade called goatskin drums, cowbells, horns, and whatever. And we just kind of like brought our culture through pop music to the world. So it gave our sound in the Bahamas a very, very distinct identity that could be compared to no one else around the world. Mm-hmm. They were always heavy into their own instruments. They would study every day, practice. and they became masters of their own instruments. So it's like when they added the Junkanoo sound along with those instruments, it gave it a brand new vibe.
It's fair for us to point out too that bands like KC and the Sunshine Band were persons that were influenced by the type of sound that Baha Men had when they were high voltage. So you would get persons that are versed in funk and what America really had a sonic relationship to pop wise. And they added that same Junkanoo influence to it and gave it a whole new feel, a sense of energy. So that's exactly what Baha Men has been doing over the years too. So it's been seen in different places in musically before or still. I think there are artists that are doing it now. They're like mixing Caribbean flavors with pop music. I heard some new songs from Justin Bieber that have and Drake that have this very Caribbean flavor, and that's Baha Men, which is really feel good music.
What is it about the Japan audience that is always? I mean, that bands, they're the fans of Japan. When they latch on to somebody, that's it. It's like a lifetime. It's almost like a mating scenario. It's like once Japan likes you, they like you forever.
Yep.
There was an era where Baha Men would go over to Japan and do tours for several like weeks every year. And each year, I remember my dad, because he's in the band also. I remember my dad. He would bring me back tapes for me to watch of the band performing in their element during these concerts. Sapporo, Nagoya, Osaka, and I'm like, it was just so overwhelming. And I think that was when I think it was in the 1995. I was in high school and I started to take interest in wanting to be a part of that and finally wishing that I was actually there with them. But I think in Japan, like those types of audiences, they immediately latch onto it because at that time they were doing a lot of like old school, like cover tunes from the 50s, like Beach Baby and stuff like that. Yeah. And Japan was heavy on stuff like that. And so that kind of that was a big hit for Baha Men back in the day too, when they did the cover tune Beach Baby with a Junkanoo pop style. And I think when I got there, that would have been 2000, 2001, right after Who Let the Dogs Out hit. And it was a different transition because, number one, the band was new. They had a new front line. It was no longer one singer who was Nehemiah Ila back then and who was a favorite over in Japan at the time. But they had 3 new singers. So it was kind of like a readjustment, but they knew the songs and we had to learn all the classic songs that Baha Men did for those tours and with a mixture of the music that we were promoting at the same time. So they were very receptive at the same time when I was there. They didn't know how to speak the language. So there was a bit of a gap, but they were singing it word for word. And that's all really mattered. They were there from start to finish. They were there on time. I mean, the concert was on time. It started on time. It ended on time. Breakdown was, I've never seen so much this level of professionalism ever.
What has happened over the years with Japan, we've Baha Men, especially since I've been with the band, well, actually since Who Let Dogs Out, the tours and the promotional focus has been in the US markets. So they kind of, I wouldn't use the word, I'll just say focused. And I believe that focus has separated us a bit from the Japan market because we haven't been there. We've not been there since I've been in the band. And we've reached out a few times, but everyone has changed, with it being 20 years later.
Everything changed.
Contacts are different. So we're still trying to reorganize a sort of rebirth into the Japanese market.
Do you find when you perform to fans who are more familiar with the earlier works that they don't, they don't hit Who Let the Dogs Out, like it doesn't resonate with them as much because they're showing that pride that they know the early stuff? Or can you not tell because you're just all over the place?
No, I can tell. The thing about Who Let the Dogs Out is that even people that don't like it love it.
You can't help it.
You can't help it. So everyone really gets excited about Who Let the Dogs Out, even if they came with specific intention to say, I am not going to dance to Who Let the Dogs Out.
Funny thing about that is, like, the concert element always provides a totally different vibe from the record. So, you might hate the record, those who might hate the record, but when you actually come to the concert, it's like a totally different energy, and people, like, they just go nuts.
It's crazy.
That's true. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's a blessing too to be able to see that, because it's unfortunate for a lot of artists. They can't speak the same thing because sometimes careers, they don't last long. In this business, it's a crazy business. So we've been fortunate enough to have a song that not only has exceeded for the time that it was out, all the success that we've gathered from over the years, winning the Grammy, winning the Billboard Awards and all the accolades, but it's actually kept us on the road for a while, for a long time. Thank God for that.
I joined the band after the Who Let the Dogs Out was really, really big. And I can't deny being thankful that it is the main song that has made sure that even being a late member, I still get to see so much of the world based off of that very song. Recording new songs like the one we have now, Take a Chance, it even spins off of Who Let the Dogs Out, because we get the audience to perform for because of Who Let the Dogs Out. So I'm happy about it, man. I'm great.
Did they tell you, Dyson, like, oh, if you think they're going crazy for this song, you should have seen when this first came out? Or were you around, like, how aware were you of what was happening to this band as this song was setting the world on fire?
I am only left to imagine still based on the stories that they tell me about how big and how epic things were. Just walking onto the Grammy stage, I hear about that story, bumping into the Who's Who during that time in the music world is just phenomenal. Learning about how many people wanted to do collaborations with the band, like all of these different things, it blows my mind, because I know the hurdles that we have to jump to do new material with the different artists and being signed to a label and having full label support and all these other type things. It's just, it overwhelms me to think about, being in a limo bus or a tour bus that everyone has their own television, and like stories like that I hear about. Like, wow.
Wait a minute. Wow. So what is the difference between a limo bus and a tour bus? Because I've just been on a bus.
I'll tell you what my version of a tour bus or limo bus has been. You walk in and there's this is the best I think I've had it. There are bottles of champagne in pockets of ice, and there's space for everybody to walk around, high five. This is in the bus. There's seats for everybody. There's flashing lights all around. Now that's probably a 20-person bus.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
The best I've seen. Now, Rick, you tell me the best that you've seen.
Well, that's the limo bus version. And then, the tour bus version, obviously there's lots more accommodations, lots more space. You have beds, you have bunks, you have one or two bathrooms, depending on the size of the bus. You have a living room space. There's a kitchenette, stuff like that, but it ain't no big thing. It ain't no big thing. Oh man, we are definitely not Hollywood. We are not Hollywood. We just have a good time wherever we go. Trust me.
Who is in charge of, because you have the song, it's your song, when television shows and movies and other outlets, we would like to use your song in our film. I mean, Disney's used it. It's been all over the place. Like, Who makes that decision? Obviously, you probably have attorneys and
You know,
whatnot.
when you're hot, you just, the universe just calls in. And I feel like we've been blessed over the years with those types of licensing deals. When I talk about stuff like that back then, like some artists would be like, "Oh, y'all got a license and deal, whatever, small." But listen, we are living proof.
You're marketing a brand now. It's not like the old days. You just show up and play. I mean, you've got to get the social
Oh
media out.
no, man, you got to do it all.
Put it on a product. Put it on dog food. Whatever.
Our business manager deals with that, though.
Yeah.
Management and the record company. Management and the record company.
Yeah.
Do you still have to travel with security?
Why?
Not since I got married.
Why?
No, but it's
We have to travel with wives.
We from the Bahamas, we know how to get it in there. So it's like, we good.
Most people can't even comprehend what it's like to be musicians that have had a long career and then all of a sudden have like one tune that blows the band up completely. Was it a struggle for the band to handle that kind of attention, that type of with the spotlights on them that hard? I mean, was there an adjustment? People, were there members that are like, "Hey, I can't take this. This is, I mean, I like playing, but I don't need this."
This kind of question. This is why I really like this kind of question. I never got asked anything like this before at all interviews, because nobody sees the struggles behind the scenes. I mean, see one or two things, but the personal struggles, each and every individual, it's too many, it's 9 different personalities. So every man handles whatever he's processed in his own way. For me, it was a huge adjustment. Truth be known, fresh out, I'm just learning. I had no experience, none. The only experience that I've had when I started with Baha Men is the fact that I was able to produce music. I was able to write music myself. I was able to, I was also a drummer before I joined the band. So I just had talent. And at the same time, to be able to learn so much and cram so much in a short period of time when we got that big hit, it was a lot of pressure for me. And there was a lot of times where, I didn't know what to do. I'd pray about it a lot every single day. I'd pray and ask God for wisdom. And I'd ask, a lot of questions to the guys in the band. And these guys, because I grew up around them as a child, they were all like uncles to me. So they would always keep me encouraged and keep me grounded, keep me humble, and I kind of like, that was like the best part of learning how to deal with the pressures of being a front man. And also, it just came naturally after a while. I'd say I started to see what people were feeling and what people were telling me. So I started to receive all of that energy and that information, and I transferred it into now turning myself into a full legit artist, because I don't think I was an artist back then. I'll be honest with you. I learned all of that in a short space of time. It wasn't an easy road. To keep a band like this together, it is hard.
Be exhausting coming off after that, and just all that energy is out, and then you have to pick it back up. It's like, all right, the night is done, and you have to pick that back up and go back to the hotel. It's all those little things in between. Like, people don't see what goes on behind the actual product that they're going to see. I like that you shared that. Thank you.
Yeah, man. It's my pleasure.
I know this is experience that I could not have gotten anywhere else. I've learned a lot. So having this knowledge now, I try to share it with as many up and coming artists as I possibly can. I was just at a hangout for food vendors, supporting a friend, and 2 rappers. One was 22 years old, the other one was about 24. And he came up to me and they talked about the stuff that I've done, and they say how much they look up to me. And I was like, okay, thank you. but tell me about yourselves. Tell me about what you're doing. Tell me about your focus. Okay, are you focusing on branding? Do you understand the business of music? Are you covering all this other type stuff? Because a lot of young artists, they just want to perform. They just want to record and release their music, but they don't take the opportunity to see how that music can work for them. And so any opportunity that I have that with any person that's willing to listen, I try to share as much of my knowledge as I possibly can, because that's what Baha Men did for me.
Look, you're proud of the song. It has been a huge hit for you guys. But how many times have you been asked, who let the dogs out and what does it mean? How many times have you had to explain over and over again what this song means?
About 30 times today.
You have neighbors that just think it's the first time you've ever heard that. Hey, who let the dogs out? It's a good one. Good one.
DM you. Hey, who let the dogs out?
Yeah. Hey, I couldn't help but notice you have dogs and you've let them out. Like, yeah, that was good too. All right, have a great day.
Right. No, but that's exactly how it is.
They know.
If it comes up, like if there's a commercial that has it, or if one of the newscasters or anchors mention it, people will record it and send me clips. You're like, look, who let the dogs out? So
my father do that with commercials. If he heard me on the radio or saw, and he's like, hey, you should be getting a check. Look into that. I'm like, Dad, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Is explaining to your extended family almost the most annoying thing? It's like, I've been telling you how this works for years. It doesn't. Don't you get paid? Somebody just said, who let the dogs out? Mom, please.
Exactly. No. My mother is the king of that. Whenever she sees anything happen,
your mother, you can check my whole family, bro. Like every time they see or hear something online or whatever, I get the same kind of response.
The more people talk about it, the better. And that's part of the reason that we've been able to market this song repeatedly is by not answering the question, because people keep asking it. Yeah, so it's good. I'll sing "Who Let the Dogs Out" all day.
We kind of just left it up to the people, honestly, and it just ventured off into.
Yeah, you put it out there and let them do it.
It ventured off into the sporting arena as a war chant before the players hit the field, or then there's the other way, that kids just automatically just received it as something cool and fun with their dogs or whatever,
Who let the dogs out?
Once you put the song out there, people can just repurpose it any way they want. I mean, to get
exactly.
it in sports stadiums is huge because it's been the same songs at sports stadiums forever. And to get a new one, it was like that and like Seven Nation Army from the White Stripes. Everybody don't. Yeah. I can't go to a game and not hear, especially a football game.
And we will rock you, and we're right up there.
And Who Let the Dogs Out is absolutely there, and you'll hear they'll just chant it right out. Man, that is just so cool.
I'm always humbled by that because those are epic songs. That's just huge to be even considered, even to have you mention that. It's up there with those songs that always play in the stadium.
I mean, the Cleveland Browns must play it,
Oh, yeah. They were one of those teams that actually really, really just went crazy with the songs.
Yeah.
Hopefully we could do that with Take a Chance now.
Yeah.
Listen, I've heard that, Jam. That is nice.
Thank you.
That is nice.
Thank you.
Take a chance with me. Don't think too much, just dance with me. Wrap me up in your energy. Tonight is for you and me. Yeah.
Can we talk about the latest, your latest on the music video for a second here?
Yeah. So
there seems to be a collection of let's say attractive women in it. How involved are you in casting?
Well, Rick actually had to put a hand in casting.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're running a company here. You got to get in there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm a very visual kind of guy.
It looks expensive. I mean, we're not. It looked like you put some into it. I mean, it's not Star Wars, but it's it looks like it was pretty high budget.
Even though there's various scenes, it was all at one spot. So, there's ways you work around making that budget happen. And then we flew to Miami for a different reason. And then we just doubled up and did the video the same time. So there's still ways that we save money, but it did still cost a nice penny.
You've been charting in Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did really well a few years back when we went to this was like what do you call this? What do you call it, Rick? It's like a Coachella almost.
You mean in Mexico? When we went to Mexico?
Monterey.
Yeah. Yeah. Monterey. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah, we did 173,000 people there.
Wow. That's what it was?
And,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's 173,000. And that felt really good. And I've been on management to really try their best to do what we can in order to tap into that market. So in Guatemala, I believe it is, we charted at number 2 with Take a Chance. So it's building. And I like the fact that the connection is with Spanish, that Spanish-English mix.
Yeah.
It just opens the doorway to a lot of history, especially for Bahamian culture. We did do a project that had Shakira, it had Pitbull, it had
Jennifer Lopez.
J-Lo.
The Isley Brothers.
We are signed to Sony Latin America. So definitely, we hope to do a tour in places like Brazil. We want to dash back to Mexico and everywhere where the song is charting, because there are a few different areas that are adding it to their radio rotation.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the Baha Men. Each week, Spotlight Effect will feature people who have made headlines over the years, topped the charts, accumulated millions of social media hits, stole scenes, or otherwise accumulated cult status for a period of time. If you like this show, please check us out at thespotlighteffect.com or on all our socials at Spot Effect Pod. We've got lots of good stuff. Please feel free to leave us a review. Subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. Spread the word. We release every Tuesday with a fascinating new guest, so please keep listening. We really do appreciate it. Oh, if you have suggestions for a guest you'd like to hear from, just drop us a note on any social platform or thespotlighteffect.com. Let's talk briefly about the Grammys. Who were the celebrities that you were blown away that you were in the same room with? And did any of them come up and say that they were a huge fan of the song? And who was a jerk?
Okay, let me backtrack, because that's a lot to compress. There were several artists that we would always run into, even on the road. And they were actually right there, nominated along with us. So I would say, well, Destiny's Child at the time, all of Beyonce and the crew, they always had an admiration for us, and we would always be running with each other in the road. It was like, hey, what's going on here? What y'all doing here? Like, we'd be at a party or we in the club together, that kind of stuff. It was cool, man. People like Toni Braxton we would run into. I was actually sitting right behind Toni Braxton, and she turned right around and just congratulated me. And that was cool.
Baha Men opened for NSYNC at one time too, right? At one point.
I think that was a 10 or 12 city tour with NSYNC, where we were opening up for NSYNC, and that was an experience that was mind-boggling. And to be in the backstage, just chilling with Justin Timberlake and the crew.
Oh, yeah. I mean, was Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake was Justin Timberlake, but he wasn't Justin Timberlake just yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. But on his way. That man.
But the group, it was cool, man. It was fun. It was a great atmosphere. It was, again, a great learning experience for me. And then 98 Degrees tour, and we did
98 Degrees. Oh my God!
I don't know if you remember. Yeah, that group. Yeah,
I remember 98 to go.
Yeah. But, we're just constantly just going. The Grammys, we were nominated with some heavy hitters who we would always be on the road with sometimes. You know, Jennifer Lopez was one of them. Enrique Iglesias was another. I think Matchbox, was it Matchbox
Matchbox 20?
I think it was.
Mm.
I think Blink 182 as well. I was excited just to be there. And I had no idea we were going to win, of course. I had no idea. So I'm just thinking, dude, we are nominated. And then I can remember a media team from the Bahamas, you know, some of our friends and who actually work with the media team here, they were actually there too, capturing it all. And we would see them and we'd run and have talks with them. And then at the same time, you know, I'm sitting in the area with the stars and I'm talking with them. And then all of a sudden, boom, they call a name and I'm like,
you're like, what?
Right.
Who announced it? Who was on stage?
On the stage?
Do you remember who handed it to you guys?
That I cannot remember.
All right, somebody in the crew figure out who handed the award. I want to, you know. Tori, who handed them the award?
That's all I
do. I don't want to keep you guys all day, but we have this little thing that we do at the end of the interview. It's like a quick fire. It's like a 15-second rapid fire question and answer.
Sure. Let's do it.
All right.
Wait. Are we allowed to use profanity?
Yes, you are allowed.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I might show this for my children, and you do license the song out to Disney, but it's up to you. You know,
keep it PG-13. All right,
PG-13.
All right, here we go.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah, let's go.
How many members still know the rap for the song?
One.
How many million views on YouTube are you at for Who Let the Dogs Out?
About 7 million.
Oh, 65 million, bro.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
True or false? Mitt Romney quoted the song while meeting people on the street.
True.
Yes, and that's time. We got 3 questions in. Yeah, Mitt Romney.
Wow.
I think Mitt Romney was trying to show to the folks on the street that he was down with the latest trends, but it just that's just so cool. You guys seem so grounded and you really seem humbled by the experience, and people don't really understand like what is like when that light is on you so bright after just working and working and working, and then all of a sudden, boom, here it is.
Yep.
It's just surprising. It just comes naturally for me now, especially at this stage. It's just clockwork for me. So I'm able to just turn it on and off whenever I need to. But I'm still a humble cat. I'm still like the everyday guy. You know, I'm like you. If you see me on the street right now, you will never recognize me.
Right.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
This has been Spotlight Effect, where we reminisce about those great moments of years past and the effect they had on all of us. If you have any ideas for an upcoming guest, please visit us at thespotlighteffect.com or on the socials at Spot Effect Pod. I'm Jim Conroy. Thanks for listening. I'm Jim Conroy. Spotlight Effect is created by Price Brothers, produced by Oink Inc. Radio, associate producer Tori Adams, and is recorded and produced at Baker Sound Studios in Philadelphia.